I went alone to stay in Bremen, Germany for a couple of months for my studies. Lovely city, generally amazing time. However, it finished on a bizarre note. I was tied for time to find a place to stay, and so I ended up subletting a room from a random guy off the internet, which is always an excellent idea. Turns out the landlord was a hoarder, the German term is Messi, with random magazines and newspapers piled high up to chin level, forcing the layout of the apartment into this sort of paper maze. Only 2 rooms were spared from that fate, my room, and the adjacent one that the landlord would also rent out to random people staying for a few weeks or months. The hoarding itself was not an issue, actually, but it gave this entire place a liminal feel. Throughout my entire stay I always felt in a bit of a bizarro dimension. And so I did not bat an eye when a newcomer started renting the room next to me. He was this nice gentleman that I'll call Apollo because he was a strikingly beautiful man. Extremely toned, dark and smooth skin, a jaw so sharp his beard probably shaved itself, he looked to be cut out of pure obsidian. I think just being next to this dude would push anyone a notch or 2 on the Kinsey scale. I'm not a particularly bad-looking man, but compared to him, you could have genuinely mistaken me for a random pile of sprouting potatoes. Apollo spoke French, he was from the French Caribbean, and so did I, and we ended up exchanging niceties a few times. Otherwise both of us holed up in our room, since the common space areas were not exactly conducive to sit and chat. Until one day, where Apollo knocked on my door and asked for help. His friend was here and was trying to format and send a resume for some random dishwasher job, and was struggling both with the language and the computer. No worries, I happily give his friend a hand, help him send the application, we exchange thanks and I go out with friends. The following day, Apollo hails me in the middle of the paper corridor. He is wearing nothing but a towel, again, not relevant but really adding to the general absurd vibe of the place. And he starts apologizing to me. For what? I ask, candidly, unaware of what's coming. He explains to me, calmly, that he mistakenly took me for a demon. You see, Apollo believes he had been visited and consequently blessed by an angel as a child, which is why I look like this, he adds. And as such, he made it his life goal to seek and cast out demonic presences in the world. And for some reason, you'll excuse me for not remembering his ironclad logic on the matter, he had established that I was an envoy of Beelzebub. I was the devil put aside for him. He then tells me his suspicions were confirmed when he slithered into my room while I wasn't there, lovely, and found the demonic pentagrams I drew on my desk. He was referring, of course, to the random doodles I draw when I watch something on my computer, you know. Demonic stuff like kittens, ducks, the odd line of maths from my studies. But don't worry. Now I know that I was wrong, because you helped my friend, and now I see that you were a test for me to improve my senses. So needless to say, I'm having a grand time. And then he explains that my aura is complex and only someone as experienced as him can detect it properly. And with that, he gave me a hug. Remember, only a towel, and with the satisfied smile of a conversation gone well, he went back to his room. I was due to move out 2 weeks later, so I just asked the landlord for a key and decided not to get therapy over it.